Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Trekking Tuesday. I'm going to be trying out a new shelter system I've been working on. We're going to set it up. Let me tell you the weather conditions first. Yeah, it's finally cold in the Midwest. Right now it is 31 degrees. A high today of 40 if we're lucky. Key word is if we're lucky. Got a nice strong wind coming out of the west. It's a constant around, what do they say, 5 to 11 miles an hour, with later in the day gusting up to 33 miles an hour. Yeah, that's strong. So we hiked along the river. I want to say we went west about a quarter mile, and then I cut in, I want to say about 150 yards to get in all this nice tree cover here. This is where we're going to set the shelter up at, which I carried in with me. We've got the poles for it. And down there we got the shelter system itself. And when I break it out, I'll talk a little bit more about it. It is really nice and calm in this area. But when that wind comes in, woo doggy. Great location, nice little clearing. Just a little leaf litter, a couple roots in the ground. Great source of firewood. If I decide to do a fire, it's going to be a very small one due to the wind, and it's been really dry. Yeah, so we're going to be very careful. But I checked, the humidity is at 50%, so it's not that bad. I just don't want the embers getting out of control with this wind. All right, first thing we need to do is I'm going to break the shelter out and get a tripod and set it up and kind of film me putting it together, and then we'll talk about it as I go along. Ground's cold. We have tent stakes that I brought with me and some 550 cord to make repairs if we need it. Also here in the patrol pack we have the shelter system. This is 3 Harbor Freight tarps, and you know what, I'll talk about the tarps later. I'm just going to tell you right now, they're crap. Don't buy them from Harbor Freight. What else we got in this little guy? Cordage, and I brought some of my spikes that I make with me for tent stakes. These are basically a what the heck they call those darn things? Landscaping nail. I call it a railroad spike with a fender washer on the top. I'm going to make those. Man, how many do we have? I think there's 4 in here. Maybe more. Okay. I wonder what else is in this thing. Oh, alright, we got lots of cordage. Alright, we're good. So let's get these suckers spread out. There's roughly 3 tarps here. And if I do this right, it's going to be set up really fast. Alright, so this is our center tarp right here with the cordage on the back. I'm going to hold this one in with the railroad spikes. We got the back to where the wind is. It's coming from. It's act as a wind block. And this looks pretty good. So I roll these all up into one tarp. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to pull this one on this side. This is one of the sides, I think. And come down here and stake these out along the back. Checking the wind direction again. Clearance, we're good. Yeah, we're going to pull this little guy over. Stick out of the way. Yeah, we'll talk about this later. This is very much has angered me. But you know what they say, you pretty much get what you pay for. Boy, did I learn that the hard way. Alright, now that I'm done rambling, this is your side wall. And we're going to stake it underneath the main tarp, like so. And normally that would go through the grommet, which is missing. We are loosely staking these in the ground because I'm sure we'll have to move them around a little bit later. And let's go ahead and stake the back down. Yeah. Next, we're going to grab our back set of poles. These are roughly, I think they're 4 foot. I don't remember. I was kind of winging it when I built it. As usual. But poles go on the inside. Here we have the cordage. Line this one up. The outside flap goes on first. Sidewall. And there's a seam. That grommet is ripped out too. This is some quality, I'm not going to say it yet, we'll wait. Okay, so what we're doing on these is we're going to stake this forward first. Once we get everything put together, stake it out sideways, and you'll see why here in a minute. Come on. Finally. Now you kind of see why I'm staking this forward, as to apply pressure to the back of the tarp setup. Keep everything taut. Time to put on the front poles. There we go. Sidewall on first. Stake this little guy out. We're going to go forward on it, but we'll move it to the side here in a little bit, or more off to the side. Get everything tweaked. There we go. Now the only thing left to do is straighten everything up and make everything nice and tight. Now remember, we stake these forward. Now we're going to take these sideways. And right there looks good. And of course, we're going to do the other side. Whoop, a little too much. I don't want to put too much pressure on it because it'll rip these grommets right out. Okay. Next on the agenda, we're going to tighten the back here. That's why we didn't push these in overwet. And this would work better if we didn't have a ripped out grommet, but what are you going to do? Too much. Finished it. Okay, now we need to roll our sides up. A lot of you are going to ask, why don't I cut off the excess? One, I don't like cutting up a good tarp. Well, we'll talk about these later. Two, on a rainy day, and there's not a lot of wind, I can take the side all the way out, put it over the cordage, and then hook it up to some more poles, and then I just extended my cover. So what we're going to do is pull this forward. And grab this end here. And we're just going to roll like a burrito. And we'll pull this one on the inside. Stick that over there. Roll a little bit more. There we go. The most dangerous part of building a trench fire in the middle of a windstorm is getting your coal base down. After that, it's not that big a deal. I'll show you what I done. As you know, the wind's coming in from the west, very strong. I built a little barricade around the back, so when the wind blows, as you can see, the smoke twirls as it goes up. That way the sparks burn out long before they get to the leaf litter. And then the wind's not blowing it sideways, which could cause a big problem. All right, we got that going. That's as big as that fire is going to be today, and probably might even make it a little bit smaller. We'll see. Let's take a look at the shelter. I've done a whole bunch since we last talked. I kind of had to haul butt because the wind was blowing things around. What I've done here is basically I've attached the top part down to the sidewall here, and we've used this cordage, which I still can't decide if I want to leave it on the outside or put it on the inside. And it goes all the way down to that stake, all the way up to this stake, and on the inside, I'm going to go in there real quick. We got these little toggles. Ooh, I just knocked over my cup, holding it in place, except for that one. I'm not sure what I did. But we got toggles all the way down. Let me fix this. Oh, there we go. Oh, all we got is chaga. I thought I had some dandelion. All right, we'll get to that here in a minute. I've done that on both sides, and what the purpose is, when the wind blows this, it tightens these cords up because they're tightened all the way down to the bottom. When it does that, it tightens the sidewalls up by pulling on the toggle like this. See? But when it's not blowing, it kind of loosens it up, and we still have a little airflow from the inside on the out. We piled leaves on the back to keep the wind from coming in. I'm thinking the whole purpose of today is just to test this out and see what I think of it in this wind. Because then I'm going to transfer everything over to 8x10. I think it's a 12 mil polytarps from Walmart. Silver on one side and gray on the other. I might have to have two lines coming out. One more out as an angle, and then one more down at the front, putting more tension on it. We'll see. I'm not sure yet. Yeah, you can see how the wind's just kind of pushing that in as it hits the side. So far, though, I like it. A couple problems with these Harbor Freight tarps I want to talk about. They're crap, friends. I mean, look at that. That's from just laying it in my backyard, and it's already got freaking holes from laying in the grass. I mean, that's not right. They're a weird size. They're a 7x9, real thin, bad material. I mean, the grommets just rip out like there's no tomorrow. There's just nothing to them. I guess it's okay if you want to put them on your wood pile, but if you want to build a shelter out of them, I don't recommend it. Look at that grommet just ripped out. And then somehow they've totally screwed up the Harbor Freight grommet kit. What I used to love those, but oh, look at this, guys. But the new one's got a lip, and they punch all the way through the tarp. And I'll show you that right here. That happened down there. Look at this. That's already coming separated from where they factory glued it. I'm glad this is just a pattern. Yeah, that's some quality crap right there. All right. So anyway, they were $5 a piece, and the grommet kit was, I think it was about $4. So for something to build a pattern out of, I guess they're all right. I'm just a little disappointed. I think our water's done. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, get out of there. I have decided to go with, instead of chaga, we're going to have good old double hot chocolate. Yep, it's time. It's cold enough. Let's do that. We're going to pour that in there. And we're going to put it on the fire and let it bubble a little bit more, or boil a little bit more to help mix that in. And then we're going to have some nice double hot chocolate. Let's get this glove on. There we go. Nice. Oh dear God, that's still hot, but it's so good. My Atlanta. Let's let that cool. Plans for the rest of the day is I'm just going to sit in here for an hour or two, maybe take a nap, and I want to see how the tarp or the shelter system reacts to the wind blowing over it, and see where the stress points are going to be, because I already see one right there. Yep, I got freaking hungry. I've been laying here for an hour dozing in and out, and I decided, let's get something to eat real quick. We're having my #1 favorite Mountain House meal. That would be beef stew. Let's see. Boy, that's going to be warm. Hang on. Oh my God, that's good. Needs pepper though. Look at all them vegetables. So I'm going to eat. The wind has died off a little bit, and I think we're going to start packing this up, because I do want to get out of here before dark, because I'm not 100% sure where I am. Let me show you what I've come up since I've been lounging around for about an hour and watching the shelter and the wind. The weakest point is from that pole to that pole. This really bows in when the wind hits it. So I'm thinking we could build a frame out of the EMT conduit and put one piece from there all the way across over here. So that would strengthen that up. And I think this is, I don't have my glasses on, but I think it's 3/4. I can't see it. But we could do that. So, and then, while I'm getting real spunky, I could go ahead and build a piece for here, all the way across there. Whoop, right there. So that would strengthen those two sections, and it would do pretty good in a snow load. But then I'm thinking, well, we could build, now this is getting a little out of control, I know, but build a piece from there to there, and all the way down, and just build an entire internal frame for the shelter system. That's a possibility, but I'm definitely going to build the piece from there to there, because that takes a lot of stress when the wind hits it. I mean, it really bows in real bad. Another thing, it wouldn't be that hard to put a front on here. So that's another possibility, putting a front piece on that you can fold down and just kind of open up when you get in and out of it. And I'm thinking I could put my propane stove here, come up, punch a stove jack through this, which would come up to the top, and then have it come up at least 2 to 3 foot in the air right about there, so we could have a stove in there. Of course, we would have to get some welder's cloth and build a curtain from here around there to keep it from melting the tarp. And we're not using this tarp, okay? We're gonna switch over to the heavy-duty poly tarp from Walmart, the silver and tan. All right, let's see what we're doing. Oh, wow, I've done it again. We've got 2.5 hours before dark, so I need to quit screwing around because, like I said, I'm not exactly sure where I am, and I don't want to get caught out here in the dark. I'm going to be using the sun for navigation. If it goes down, that's not going to help things any. All right, I'm going to start cleaning up my mess here. I'm going to answer another question I get asked often. How do I fold all these tarps up by myself? Well, it's pretty easy. You stick down the 2 long sides, pull them as taut as you can. Then you take, whoops, then you take the leaves off of it. You stretch these little guys out, and you do it on this side, like so. Then we take this side here and we bring it over. You kind of get the idea now, don't you? Line those 2 grommet holes up. Stake this side down. After we get it folded, and we stick that side down, and we just pull this taut, fold it over a couple times, tuck the cordage in there, and just roll the little guy up. That's how I fold all my tarps up by myself. Does not take long at all. I do believe we got 40 minutes before we lose daylight, so we need to move with the purpose. Not a big deal. Okay, so I came in at 11 o'clock. The sun was at the east over here. It is now, I don't know what time, I'm thinking about almost 5:30. The sun is at the west. So we are going to head east. And actually going to follow that path. And if you look way down there, you can hardly see it in the camera. There's a streak of light. That is the sun reflecting off the river. And it's kind of giving us a little beacon. But that's only going to last about a half hour. Maybe. I'm not exactly sure where we are. Alright, fire is out. Made sure that is definitely out. Area is cleaned up. Let's gather up some of this gear and hit the old dusty trail. And hope we make it to the river in 10 minutes. I hope. We made it to the trail. I didn't get lost and get stuck in the dark. It's going down. All right, where are we? All right, there's a bend there. So if we go on around that way, 0.3 miles, that's where my regular camp is. This is where we came out at. Okay, we got a beaver chew there. Beaver chew, down tree. And you're wondering why I'm doing this, because I really want to find that location again. It's really cool. All right, then over the distance right there, we got a tree that a beaver has attempted to chew on. Oh, there's another down tree. Okay, so I know where we are. We can find this location again. Now, just a nice, gentle hike to the trailhead. I do believe we made it back in the nick of time. It won't be long before it's pitch black out here. All right, let me show you something funny. I get back to the mountain here, loading my gear up, and open up my cooler. and I got my condiments on the top. And look at that, 2 freaking dandelion peas. Can you believe that? I know, I could have used those earlier. No big deal. And I bet you're wondering why I use a cooler in the middle of winter. Well, it's not the middle of winter yet, but during cold weather, that is to keep my water from freezing while I'm out here. Well, I got a chance to test the new shelter design out, and found out some things I need to change, like adding the extra support and 2 more tie downs on the front of it. Not a big deal. It was a great day. So I think I'm gonna go home and draw up some more of the design with the changes I have, and then probably next week go ahead and purchase the 4 8x10s from Wally World, along with the Wally World grommet kit, because I am not happy with Harbor Freight products at all. All right, friends, hate to leave, but I am supposed to be home before 6, which I don't think that's going to happen. See you guys on YouTube. Oh my.